Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it's Rob and Rob. And it's Ask Rob and Rob. It's the show that you know, where the format, we like to get into a flow. I can't do any more. I've run out of rhymes. But that's fine, because you're here to hear good questions and hopefully some half-decent answers as well. So let's keep that show on the road and remind you of how to get your question in.
Yep, 013-808-00035. That's the number you need to know. Or you can remember a web address instead, which is propertyhub.net/ask. And if you get particularly lucky, you might even be able to ask 2 questions and get away with it. That's what Alexis managed to pull off today. So it's an Alexis special. Let's have a listen to her first question.
Hi, Rob and Rob. This is Alexis calling. Thank you for the amazing property podcast. I've been following for a while now. I have 2 questions. The first one is, what do you do if you have tenants who don't pay? My neighbour's tenants have been staying there for 7 months and haven't paid, only the deposit. And she's obviously mortified, and the tenants will be kicked out by court bailiffs soon. I know there's insurance that you can take out in terms of protecting yourself against tenants that don't pay. But I mean, this will negatively affect your cash flow if you had multiple properties, for example. So if you could give some advice in terms of how to deal with tenants that don't pay rent.
So first of all, what do you do if you have tenants who move in, pay the deposit, and then don't pay anymore? You cry a bit to start with. I mean, that is a bad situation. The first thing to say is that this is highly, highly unusual. I understand why this is something that's on your mind, because you've seen it happen near you. And if you see something happen, it's natural to think, oh no, what will I do if this happens to me? But you just happen to have witnessed something that is very serious, but is not commonplace. So don't let this put you off the whole idea of investing in property. So there are a couple of things that you can do to reduce the likelihood or the impact of this happening. One is, as you mentioned, rent guarantee insurance. Rent guarantee insurance is not as attractive as it used to be. It's become a lot more expensive as a result of all the various eviction bans over the COVID period. And there are also now more conditions attached to it, and it can be harder to get it to pay out. So it's not an absolute silver bullet solution, and it can be relatively expensive. However, if this is something that you're particularly concerned about, whether it's particularly likely or not, I still think it's worth trying to protect yourself against the risks that you are worried about, because whether you're right or wrong to be worried about it, you are, and there's absolutely no point going through life not being able to sleep or being concerned about something that might happen. So if this is a concern of yours, maybe this is something to do for the first year or two until you get a bit more comfortable and then decide it's not something you need anymore. But the best thing to do is to prevent this from happening in the first place. And the way to do that is referencing. Referencing is never perfect. If you had a question on your referencing form saying, do you plan to move in, pay the deposit, then not pay the rent? It's possible that people would lie to you. I know, shocking. But if you take up references from previous landlords, if possible, if you get employer references, if you dig into their earnings, if you see bank statements and you see that they're managing their finances okay, then that goes a long way to protecting you. It doesn't mean it's perfect, and it's possible that your neighbour did all this and just got unlucky. But my bet would be, my hunch, is that they probably skipped on some of that, missed some of those steps, and are paying the price. And that's my hunch, because that's what's always happened to me. Every time I get lazy about referencing and I don't follow the process, something bad happens. So that's one question answered, but you had another one.
The second question is, my husband and I have been trying to buy property for the last year, but the market's been crazy. We live in Manchester. We've put our first offer on the property in April. We are unable to sell our property due to the cladding. We've obviously put multiple offers on properties. We've been outbid. There's more than 12 offers on the same property. The properties are selling more than the actual market values, way more. I don't know what we could do to try and get our offers to be accepted. We're also thinking maybe we should just buy any property just to get into the market, because it's obviously a property boom at the moment. We would love to hear your advice in terms of how to deal with buying property in this crazy market. Thank you.
It's an interesting market right now, and people can struggle to do deals. Well, forget deals, just even buy a property, as you've pointed out, in a market like this. particularly in places like Manchester or Liverpool or Nottingham, places that are doing really well right now because lots of people want to live there and lots of people want to invest there. So there is this drive of property prices in an upward motion. It's interesting, though, that you've said that people are paying more than actual market values. But I challenge that. Are they? Are they paying more than what you think the market value is? But maybe the market has moved. And it almost certainly has. You will anchor to a point on what you believe a value to be. But the market is telling you that your valuations are wrong because they're being sold at higher prices. You may not like that the market is pricing differently to you, but the market has decided that that's what that property is worth. And the fact that this is happening to you on multiple occasions suggests that you're wrong on your pricing. I don't mean to sound cruel or harsh to you. It's an important lesson. The way the market moves right now, in particularly like places in Manchester, you need to adjust your pricing perceptions on a monthly basis. And will it eventually calm down? Yes. But what do you do in the meantime? So let's say you wait a year and it calms down a bit. Then you might go, oh, great, now I can get in. But in that year, the market may have grown 5, 7, 10%. So you'll be paying even more in 12 months' time. Now, I'm not trying to scare you or wind you up. I'm just trying to open your eyes to the potential reality. So you've got a few choices. You could decide property's not for you, which I don't think is the case because you've doubled up on questions on Ask Rob and Rob. Or you can decide to accept that you need to pay what the market wants right now and pay more than you're currently anchored to in your mind. Or third, look at slightly different areas. Can you look at a ripple effect just outside of this area that you're particularly targeting and go, okay, well, if I'm after Manchester city centre, for example, can I look at Greater Manchester? You do have my sympathy because at Property Hub Invest, we have to operate in this market as well. And in these regions, because we believe they're a great place to invest and our investors want us to invest there. And getting even a few % off right now, even when taking a volume number of units, is really, really challenging. So to you and to anybody listening, if you get a sniff of a deal in any of these key areas right now, jump on it. Like, if you're thinking, wow, I've got 1 or 2% below the market value, as long as that property's fine and there's no, underlying issues, jump all over it right now. It's a tough market, and those who sit on their hands or procrastinate or overthink things are going to miss out. Because if you take 6 months to make a decision, a deal, then the market may have moved several % during that time. And your procrastination, your inaction has cost you thousands, potentially tens of thousands of pounds. So I know it's not the cuddly answer you may have wanted, but hopefully it's the tough answer you need to get you into action, to making a decision on whether, right, this is for me and I'm prepared to pay more, or I'm going to move areas to be able to operate in a slightly calmer market. Wherever you choose, best of luck. I know it's not easy, but it is possible. So good luck.
Ask Rob and Rob, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So that is us done. Thank you to Alexis for those wonderful pair of questions. And do send in your own question if you have one on your mind. 013 808 0035 is the number. But for now, we are done. We'll see you here again on Thursday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.